Hi, everybody. Uh, we have had some real world stuff happen, and rather than just cancel, we decided to hop on and see if anybody was watching and answer questions and talk about the game and so on.
I can give awesome fashion tips.
And I can give tips on what to do when your dometer is having a breakdown.
How to be a slave without being a slave. Oh no. I didn't mean it. You're not a slave. Come back.
What happened? Okay. Well, that's...
She might have disconnected, but it just the timing was...
Yeah. This is why we can have nice things. Is where I'm at on that.
I was going to wonder how long it took for everybody to notice, and I don't think anybody was going to. I bet somebody in the chat was going to notice, but, we have 2 hours before I was going to say something.
So, Katie's computer crashed is what happened there. Yeah, she'll be back on in just a minute.
She was sounded. So I flipped my thing upside down.
Why?
To see if anyone would notice. I was thinking about messaging Katie and Crafty and being like, flip yours upside down to say nothing.
What? I mean, okay, sure.
That nobody would have noticed, but somebody in chat would have.
Yeah. No, somebody later would be like, why is that upside down?
Why are all of their symbols upside down? Which honestly, it makes sense for what we are. You'd think it was just a choice. But I know you would have noticed with hers because it's so obvious that Unk was upside down.
Yeah, that's true.
Katie, I had flipped my image upside down and was going to wait and see if anybody noticed, including the chat.
Oh, your extra one?
Yeah, so I was telling him, I was like, I know nobody's going to notice unless I say something now. So I'm going to go ahead and point out that I flipped my thing upside down.
That is such a Prunella thing to do, too. Honestly.
Because I had to load it since, I was using the other one last time. So I had to go load it. And when I realized it would let me rotate it, I was like, you mean it'll let me turn it upside down? Interesting. It's like a button that says don't push. I'm going to push it.
Amazing.
Yeah. This is what I've grown to expect from all of you, honestly, is where I'm at. And I say that with all love.
What else would you expect, friend? We invited you to be the storyteller of this amazing game.
When like you and Crafty mentioned that there was a thing, and you talked about Sage and Feather, and I thought, okay, this sounds funny. And then I didn't think anything of it, and then I got the email from Michael saying, "Hey, we're looking for an SD to do this." And he listed off all the players, and I was like, "Well, I know all those people, and they're great. So sure, I'll be glad to come do that." So yeah.
See, I've always just been a little curious, like, where the heck could you possibly have decided to start when you took this on? Because I'm sure at least he gave you, and I mean, you'd heard from us just talking about the game beforehand. It's dark satire, it's VTM still, but it's not supposed to take itself too seriously. Like, how did you even start? Where did you start?
So, true confession, I've only ever seen clips from what we do in the shadows. I'd never actually seen the show, and I
That's
knew
fair.
that.
I have probably only seen like 6 episodes total my whole life.
Yeah, and the pitch was What We Do in the Shadows style, and I was like, okay, well, I know kind of the sense of humor from the clips. I watched a couple of episodes beyond that because I wanted to get a little more of it. And I was like, okay, we are not these people, so it'll be a little bit different. But we needed
I mean,
to.
because they're messing with all kinds of literature and lore and accepted pop cultural vampire stuff, and this is a game that has mechanics and its own lore and history.
So yeah, the way I approached it was that we, I knew that we were going to be playing in the world, and I was going to keep the world straight and let all of you carry the weirdness of it and just play off of the weirdness and give you fuel to play off your weirdness. I knew what the characters were about, and so I knew what to throw into them to give them a chance to be like, look how weird we are.
I guess that makes sense, because there's been times when you have us encounter like totally normal big players in the city that are just like, the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Exactly.
Yeah, like the most common response I've had to describe is the sudden blank look as they're trying to figure out what's going on with Feather.
When we keep saying things that make us sound crazy too, because we're trying to cover for Feather. Yeah, you guys are LARPers, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
It was our very first session, or the first time we
it
met
was-
Gold.
yeah.
And Purnell's like,
Because originally we were going to try and play it off as Mafia. And then all of a sudden we met Francis literally like 10 minutes later.
dressed like a wizard.
And it's like, okay, I guess we're going with the
What's
LARP
wrong with
route
us?
now.
What's wrong with us? You look like you're going to an actual LARP, and we're supposed to take you seriously.
Oh, yeah. So Jeremiah saw the whole Francis Couture section of the costume shop we found in New York City.
That's true. That's true.
Like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's Steve Francis. And Nico's like, I'm going to get it for Jeremiah. I'm like, no, you're not. You are not tormenting us with that.
So I gotta ask, like, when you guys coming up with the idea for this, before I ever got in, is what you had in mind what ended up being what we came up with in actual play?
No, what we're doing is better than what we were storyboarding.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just crazy how we were all like, yeah, these are the characters we came up with, independent. We didn't really establish shared backstory until like 0. And even that was just like, we answered an ad and now we're all these roommates. We're living in Anarch territory. Someone's barony. We don't know. Who cares? We're not bothering anybody. Knock, knock, knock.
Yeah.
At least, like, mine was a little different because Crafty already made Sage and Feather. And then she asked, like, if this ever happens, would you want to play Sage? And I'm like, sure. And then next thing I know, I'm hearing about Omniversal and they're looking for a BTM game. And a few of us were looking for something that wasn't just the main Chronicle we were in. We wanted to try coterie style games. So I was like, sure. And I've thrown a few little surprises in there that Crafty doesn't know. Because again, she made this character stories. Like, she didn't know Micah was my Dominator before Feather took over. That was fun.
Yeah, Crafty's reactions is always a fun part of any stream, but I definitely I enjoy the occasional times where you have left me somewhat speechless. Like I know roughly what to expect from all of you because I've hung out with you, I've RP'd with you. I know where things are in your brains a little bit, but every once in a while you'll throw something at me. I'll be like, okay, let's work with that.
And I'm guessing, actually, and it's funny that it's the two of us that could be here tonight. I'm guessing a lot of those times are me and her.
Definitely. Although Wex playing Ollie.
Oh no, I guess that's true because Wex, while he's not as often the one driving a scene, when he finally gets an opportunity to make some sort of pivotal decision, you're like, here's A, here's B, and he's like, C. No, there's no C. No.
I mean, like him trying to aggressively feed and intimidating people into letting him drink from them, and sort of trying to play it off as him being friendly.
Yeah, no, he's like, no, it's okay. No, you're fine. No, it's gonna be great. Let's go over here for a little bit. Yeah, you're fine. Wasn't that great? Didn't we have a good time? I'll see you later. And you're just like, this is kind of terrifying.
I was just like, his character is deeply unhinged, and you don't see it until he goes and does something, and you're like
when we hadn't established it was a dream sequence yet, but he still jumps out the window.
Yeah.
Like, we're all just like, whoa.
Oh my god!
Like, that alone must be a masquerade. Man jumps from top floor of a building this whole time.
One of my favorite things out of this game is listening to all of you speculate about what's going to happen next, or what the mystery is, or who's the girl with the black eyes and the dark hair, or and who's going to embrace Sage, because clearly somebody's going to embrace Sage, and all of that makes me happy. I enjoy that so much.
Because, like, even when you and I have our little chats about, like, hey, what direction do you want to go in? Like, we've even, like, discussed that avenue of, like, what would happen and what clan, like, she would have been embraced by. And it's always, like, interesting to talk about that stuff. And then my off-the-wall stuff that I'm like, so hypothetically, what if we went this route? And I just see Jeremiah, like, palm to the head.
I don't think you were ready for the fact that, like, once you implied that Sage could be a mage if she wanted to, with that little bit, just that little bit, and it's not my character, it's not my business, but I, as Prunella, am just like, yes. I like this. I don't care that it means you'd be technically human again, and that's gross. I think this is a great idea. You should.
I think that was one of the things we discussed too, is like potentially
that makes us an even more misfit bunch.
Yeah.
For there to be a mage in our coterie, a non-ghoul, non-kindred member of knowing society. It makes us even more out of whack. The puzzle piece doesn't fit even more. And so when you implied that as a possibility, I was like, I want that. I want us to make less sense. Yes.
I like how it has always responded to stuff that's happened. Like, I did the sort of one-off story of Sage's day when she's like, when we did the vignettes and her interacting with the other ghouls, and suddenly Katie's like, I want to do more of this. I want to hang out with the ghouls more. Can we have Ghoul Breakfast Club? What's going on?
Like, after that, it was just like, because that's also partially why I was really gung-ho about playing the ghoul, is one, I haven't seen a lot of it in the games I have watched, And when you do see a player ghoul, usually they're like there for like 1 or 2 sessions. And I wanted to, with Jeremiah, explore like what it's like on the part of the day that isn't nighttime, what the ghouls are doing and stuff, and kind of show that it's like, this is what we do. Like, we are literally servants. Even if we're not, we're servants at the end of the day. And I'm excited for what is in store in the future with that.
Yeah, a habit I picked up from one of the other servers I play on is coming up with the body double, the actor you would have play this if you were doing this as a TV show or something. So when I threw my body double idea at Katie for what Bryce looks like, she
That was dirty, sir.
He's like, that's my boyfriend.
No, not yet.
He has to earn it.
Yeah,
He does.
he's still
Gotta
in
prove he's not like other ghouls.
Nerd.
I know, this is why you guys keep me around.
Yeah, no, it is.
I still can't believe. I mean, I get it. We've given a weird premise. It's supposed to be satire, but you even said that the world is straight and we're the funny man. But you still let me be a farmer Ventru?
Yeah, I mean, the pitch was so good. Like, it was like, no, that absolutely plays into the concept.
I supported it with reasoning. I didn't just be like, I want this arbitrarily. I was like, no, I'll build her completely around this.
And I'll tell you, every ST I've talked to who runs Vampire, and I've told them about your character, they're like, that's brilliant. I would totally allow that.
It's like, I suppose it's the rule of one and fun is like, yeah, you can do that, but just this once and just you. I'm not gonna let anybody who wants this concept to have it every time. I'm just like, I has a cat. Von Wilbrand.
And where Scruffy was pure comedy gold.
Oh, yeah.
That established a tone from episode 1.
I just let you started with her. We started the entire series off with Prunella eating a dog.
Yep.
Let's make sure everybody knows what they tuned into. Right off the jump. For me, after that first session, like, I kept thinking about it going, everybody thinks Prunella is awful because she eats dogs. It just makes her seem so terrible. Like, everybody was talking about it going, have you ever really thought about how it's considered more humane and moral to eat cats and dogs? Whereas as a culture, we would think it's totally fine to eat people as long as you just don't eat cats and dogs. Like, those are puppers and kitters. Don't do that. That's terrible.
I had a similar thing today. I talked to somebody who refused to watch John Wick because they found out that the dog dies in the movie. And
Spoilers.
I'm like, he also kills like dozens of people.
Who cares about people?
But you're bothered by the dog.
Like, I love the game Fable 2. And one of the reasons they give you a dog, and then one of the first things they send you on, the bad guy kicks your dog, and you're just like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like, you're just like, you don't give me a dog and then have some asshole kick my dog. I'm gonna kill him. So I'm over here going, I feel gross. Why am I high? How do I have higher humanity when I'm eating cute little fluffy animals?
Yeah, and I'm just as guilty of it. Like, I've watched movies where like there are like serial killers and they kill people, and I'm like, okay, that's what serial killers do. But the moment they kill an animal, I'm like, all right, let's string them up.
Yeah, that guy needs to get got.
Like, you both know, like, some of the other characters I've played in VTM games, and it's like, they've done some fucked up stuff. And then it's like, I have my one character who's like, you hurt my otter. I will literally John Wick this shit. And literally, you can attest to this, Jeremiah, the otter is literally the most liked character in that game, and they're not even around that often.
It's true. It's true.
No, I mean, I need to get some art of Von Willebrand made so that you can like pop it on the screen sometimes. Because he's so great. Big, fat, ugly, angry-looking, evil Sphinx cat.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say one of the other things I absolutely adore, because we are a comedy show to a certain extent. Like, yeah, it's World of Darkness, but we're a comedy show. Mm-hmm. So some of the things that happen in comedy shows, we lean into. So the running joke absolutely comes back up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all the time.
All the time.
Everything from it's okay, I had a roommate in college too, to but he's Methodist. Like
in Purell.
Purell. Yeah.
Purell.
Like we have so many running gags that go throughout, and it makes me so happy.
The ambiguity of Ollie's orientation, because we never give Wex an opportunity to actually answer that question in game.
It's okay.
So he's making jokes based off of literally nothing.
It's Ollie's boyfriend.
He's like, why is it my boy? Can't it be y'all's boyfriend?
and it's not like he objects. It's just like,
why do you guys assume? Like, so I make art with crayons, so I'm gay? I don't. What does this mean?
Well, he's in your bedroom, so
you wanted him to be in your bed. He could have been in your bed.
Like, he could have been in anyone's bed. Probably put him in.
This is where I ran through it. I was like, ooh, Prunella wouldn't probably be down with that because she's just no, and Sage wouldn't be down with that because Predator, regardless of him being missing limbs.
Sage would put him in her bed and then slept on the couch and then got yelled at by Prunella and Feather for not getting a proper sleep for being on the couch.
I love that she was yelled at for sharing a bowl with Bryce. That would cut me off.
She's like, first, like, I gave you that, and also, you know how Prunella feels about swapping germs.
That killed me, because I'm like, of all the things she could have assumed, it's just, you shared a bowl with him. How dare you? And it's like, those are very valid points.
When I was just like, so Prunella wants to make some coffee for poor Sage, and you're like, oh, it's gonna go well. Don't worry, I'll clean up the mess. Of course I will.
No, the other thing is occasionally I looked over your character sheets and just to look for like things that jumped out at me as a problem, and so you're going through, you're doing a lot of prep, you forget what's on people's character sheets. And when you revealed that you didn't have any craft skill, but you were trying to be a fashion designer, which is based off craft, I was like, what?
4 dots of medicine, 0 craft. But I've spent some XP. I've fixed a few things. Oh, I have enough XP to raise my int.
Listen, I've just been hoarding mine. I've seriously just been hoarding it so I can do things later on.
I'm actually slowly making Prunella's character sheet suit how I've been playing her, because I didn't really think about how I was gonna play her until we were in it. I kind of had a different sort of angle for her in mind, and it turned into something else, something funnier, and it was better this way.
So,
But now I'm slowly spending XP to put things in places that they need to be because I'm playing her like that. I'm like, and now she's smart enough to have said some of the things she said. There we go.
so what? Because I do toss out a lot of mystery stuff. What mysteries are you like? Do you think you have an idea of what's going on with what's the thing that you have a theory about, or you have no idea what's going on, or
Well, because I feel like I'm pretty on the money about some of the details of Gold and Bryce. I've sent you a couple of my own theories on that, and you were very quiet in response. So I was like, "Ooh, did I get close? Am I close?"
So some of those are answered in my vignette when we finally post those. I still have theories on what clan Baron Gold is, so
I'm not really worried about that. It's the details of his relationship with Bryce and the details of his seemingly specific and personal dislike for Prunella just because she's a Ventru, and not on like normal Anarch dislike levels. There seems to be something there personal to Gold. And so I have theories about how there's some sort of connection to those three things. And I think I'm right. I'm right. I know I've got it real close.
I definitely had fun coming up with Gold and figuring out who he was. And once I had him, I had the rest of the Newark barony. Once I figured out him, I was like, okay, well, then he'll need something, to fill in this blank, and that's where Francis came from.
Fucking.
As much as we hate on Francis, like as a character, I love him.
Oh no, what is it?
You love to hate him.
A hero is a hero, but everybody loves a good villain. And you want someone dislikable that's so dislikable you like them. Like you like you hating them. You want more stuff to hate about them. That's how you know it's a good antagonist type character, is that you hate them, but you don't want them to not be in the game anymore because it's useful to hate them.
Yeah. I've played characters like that at LARPs. So I kind of know the game of walking the edge of, you don't want to cross a line where they're like, nope, you gotta die. We have to kill you now. You don't want to cross that line, but you want to walk right up to the edge of it.
The thing is like Prunella knows he's already done something to deserve them being like, yeah, I think we should probably kill him for the betterment of the world, sort of. But we don't know what the specifics are, so there's nothing for the audience to really be behind us for deciding to kill Francis. But Prunella knows he has already done something to deserve that choice.
Absolutely. He is all of the negative stereotypes about Tremere.
How many viewers do we even have?
We currently have 4. It's been fluctuating.
Yeah.
And I just put into the chat, if anyone wants to ask us questions, please ask away. Tonight we're doing kind of like a Q&A, like talking about the stream thing.
Yeah.
I know some of the followers probably, since we were so late starting, thought maybe that it wasn't happening and haven't checked back.
Yeah, I posted a few links. I'll poke at people too and be like, we're live. I promise.
We're lots of us have real life things going on, so sometimes that causes issues, but we try and we're going to try and make things happen as we push through that sort of thing. So the I guess what kind of direction do you want things to go? Like, what's something that hasn't happened that you want? Is there maybe a supernatural creature that you want to meet that you haven't met yet? Is there a story thing you want to see develop?
Well, I already kind of DM'd you mine because I think that would be a fun avenue to explore.
Yeah.
Especially with just ghouls in general. I think it would be hilarious if the coterie ran into a Garou or like another Farah like shifter.
Yeah, no, I know that Werewolf's not out yet as far as V5's concerned, but to encounter them on a fluffy level.
Well, one of the cairns is in Central Park, so there is a chance we have bone knocks in Jersey.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility.
I would love to watch Feather encounter a Fae.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I just feel like, and then even if it wasn't like just two Feather personally, but it could be happening to one of us. But just, I know all of us would probably handle it in a more normal, logical way. Even Ollie in some retrospects, but Feather encountering a Fae, depending on how you went about it and what it was, I want to see her logic her ass out of that.
Yeah, I think that would be. I think it would be a weird situation because she has this sort of denial of reality that is very not changeling friendly, but somewhere near that. That makes sense.
Would it just be interesting if like you gave something really easy for her to logic away? Not something extravagant and crazy, something that she should actually be easily able to cope with, but doesn't. All this shit she's seen with us, all the shit she's heard, all the stuff that's happened right in front of her, and she's like, no. But you give her like a 2-foot tall winged creature with blue hair that she sees in a club with blinking lights and drugs and alcohol going on. And she's like, oh my God, this is real. And we're like, what? You accept that? But all of this other crap, you're like, never happened.
Yeah. Changeling's got some lovely, odd forms of horror to it. Pan's Labyrinth is definitely the Changeling sort of stylistic theme. So it's still in the horror genre, but having her deal with it makes it a bit more farcical, and I think that there's some value in that. I was amused to start with let's go big on the horror with the Cathedral of Flesh.
The fact that you started out with that, and I actually just finished reading up on that for another thing, and I'm just sitting here like, this is what he's throwing out as session 1? But Sage wouldn't know what this is. Oh my God.
Well, it's such a... It is such an over-the-top horror element. Yeah, it's horrifying and terrible, but it's hard to sort of wrap your head around it also, which makes it perfect for the theme of what's going on, really. That makes sense.
I didn't even fully, during that session with going down into that place, I didn't actually fully like grasp what was happening until we were walking through that wall. And then it kind of clicked for me that this entire environment Not even just the situation, the whole place, everything around her, everything should be making her leave. Prunella will not touch. She sees the blood and the dirt and the rust and just like literally everything around her makes her repulsed and having like triggery feelings. So I was like, I'm ignoring this particular detail of her character so that we can progress narratively, but then we get to the flesh tunnel. And that was pretty much when I was like, absolutely not. I don't care. We're splitting the party. Prunell's not going in there. They can all go. She will not go. It's not happening.
There is, first off, let's acknowledge the fact that there is no way that you can say the term flesh tunnel and not have it be weird.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Nah.
It is not possible. You cannot say the term flesh tunnel and have it not be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just putting that out.
I was like, oh, well, I stuck with you guys all the way to this point, but this is where Prunella does not continue. There isn't enough Perel in the world.
I'm also amused that that's still over. Like, that's across the street from your apartment.
That makes me like sit here and like, why haven't we done anything about it yet? And then I remember the characters were playing. I'm like, they're just like, we did the job. It's fine. What's our next one?
Hey, we did a double check. They said that the thing collapsed. So I was like, cool. I don't care that the door is gone and it might still be there. It's just not missing a door. I'm not going to go looking for a new door. And even if there is a new door, the door was a flesh tunnel. Prunella is not going in the door.
I have had people ask me about guesting on the show. And my rule of thumb, I think, is going to be I'm fine with having guests like we had Micah, who are written into the character histories of the characters. If somebody wants to come play in it, like an SBC, who, like, say, Prunella's sire, or Paolo, or one of the ghouls,
or someone from Sage's past.
Yeah, or someone from Sage's past.
Oh my gosh. Katie, you're going to love this idea.
Yes.
You should get to have another Breakfast Club vignette with ghouls and have 3 guests for your vignette. Have 3 people playing other ghouls. Jeremiah can give them their little information about who they're playing. But you get to have breakfast with other people, not just Jeremiah as the people. I would watch that because I would be like, so what are the other ghouls like? And who's playing them?
Funny enough, with a potential route, especially after our more like serious scenes where we had the one actually right before Sage went into surgery, that whole session, and I messaged Jeremiah. So this question mark, that would actually kind of, I feel, tie into that, and I wonder who Jeremiah would cast as Cecil.
As Cecil?
As Cecil in particular. Lacar would play a great Cecil.
Just this sniveling.
Just have him nerdy it up.
He's just being a sniveling wimp. That's a waste of Lacar.
I mean, but I also could see him doing it so good. Because I've only seen him.
Yeah, he would have fun just being apologetic.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. You're so great. You're amazing and powerful. Please don't kill me. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Like, I could totally see him.
I learned my lesson.
And with what I at least have kind of planned for potentially with Sage down the road and Cecil, Lacar would be a great fit. So Lacar, if you're watching right now.
Yeah.
You could be a sniveling, spineless slave to a Tremere who doesn't want to be that.
And is for some reason scared of Sage, all because she just yelled at you for staking her.
Yeah, I think he's more afraid that it's very clear that hurting you resulted in way more punishment than if he had hurt anybody else, including Feather herself. It was that he hurt you, and hurting you results in extreme violence.
Yeah, he wasn't afraid of you. He was afraid of what Francis would do if you told him. Because Francis is terrifying.
Francis is terrifying, and
Francis is a soulless monster.
Like
Sorry, I didn't say that right. Francis is a soulless monster.
he is a soulless monster.
no, I wouldn't.
Why do you won't accept the embrace from him?
Because he cares a lot about
Because you don't know where he's been. That's why.
That's a
He
big
just wants
part.
to take care.
You don't know
of
where he's put that mouth. You really
likes
want to. He probably hasn't brushed his teeth in like 50 years.
I feel Prue would say that about anyone that embraces Sage, though. Like, the second the embrace is over, the wound's not even closed by the sire.
You
Prue's
don't even
already
know where
there,
he's been.
like, disinfecting it.
I think Francis is a lot of fun to play. He wants to be your friend. He's very friendly.
He's a perv.
He's not a perv.
He is a
He's a
perv.
lonely, dirty man who needs to maybe not hang out with a bunch of kids so often. It's creepy.
You see, the thing with Francis is he is so far removed from his humanity that perv may not actually be the right term, because he doesn't really think in the gross physical sense anymore.
He gets something not good out of the things he probably imagines. The things that he fantasizes about for his own disgusting, evil drives. I don't want to know. I just don't want to know. And I'm not asking.
I joke about he does have, like any character should, a moral character.
Well, I would hope he has at least one connection. He's got to have at least one.
He does have his rules that he follows. He follows and pays attention to them.
Brains dropping. What is the word for it?
But he's not a good guy by any stretch of the imagination. But he's not the worst thing that you will run into.
What is the word? Is it cornerstone?
Touchstone.
Touchstone. Oh my god!
Yeah.
My brain could not. I was like, I know this. I was like, he has to have at least one touchstone. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to have at least one.
He's got two.
Oh, he's got to big
He's
spender.
got 2. So 2 out of potentially 3. Not the worst.
Yeah. It might be interesting to see you sort of track down what those are.
Yeah, because Prunella's going to take a vested interest in Francis and his personal life.
Maybe. I actually enjoy playing the scenes with Gold and Prunella.
I have no idea what your angle is with that at all, and so it's always me being like, I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I don't have any idea what his goal with this interaction is, so I don't know what I'll just Prunella and see how it goes. Actually, the only times that I feel really like on the spot as Prunella is when she's interacting with Gold, because I mean it. I have no idea what your narrative goals are with that, and I actually don't for some reason don't want to mess it up. I don't want to mess up your whatever, because I want to. I'm curious. I want to go down the path, but I have no idea where it's taking me. So whenever Gold and her are having things, or he just shows up and starts saying shit, I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? Especially when he's like, I want you to succeed in your stuff. Why? What's it to you? You're not my dad. Go away.
You're not my dad.
You're not my dad. You treat me better than my dad. I don't like it. It makes me nervous. I'm not really used to it. Okay. She's like a dog at the pound. Just assumes you're gonna hit her. Like, like, why are you being nice? Powerful people are never nice to me. Stop it.
So we got our first question from the chat.
Yay!
It's Bonnie. It's Bonnie.
Hi, Bonnie.
Okay, Katie, you seemed to know a little more because you said that. No, Crafty had the idea for Feather and Sage. It had nothing to do with Newark.
So it originally, back when Crafty and I were still like very new to the system, and we were finally like doing a lot of like just hypothetical character building. She built Feather as an idea for Malkavian on potentially what to play after Carmen, and I don't remember exactly how she got in contact with Omniversal, but they told her, and she saw like ads saying that they were looking for players for a VTM game. She got in, and they weren't really getting any other biters, so she's like, I know a whole community that would jump on this. And that's how you and Wex and I got invited in. And when discussing the characters, she mentioned, hey, I am cool with you playing Sage if you really want to go that route. And yes, Crafty is amazing.
Crafty is fantastic.
All the love to Crafty.
Absolutely.
We actually went through a few storytellers before finally asking Jeremiah, because they wanted to do some themes that were not necessarily good themes, and we were all at the table like, yeah, no, let's not dip into that and get potentially banned from the internet. And it just took a lot of like kind of just like trial and error on trying to find a storyteller that fit. And when Jeremiah showed interest, I believe it was Crafty and I were both like, Mike, please reach out to him. He's a great player. We play with him in St. Pete. We know he's story told. We know he's done LARP. He's very familiar with the World of Darkness systems overall.
I mean, I had thought to ask him before we asked him, but I knew that Jeremiah was involved in a lot of stuff already. And so I didn't want him to feel pressured just because we were friends and we'd been really passionate about this project, trying to get it off the ground. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to pressure you at all, McCoy, to be like, if you don't do it, we don't get to do it at all. Like, I didn't want to go there. So when you said you were on board, I was just like, yay, I hope this isn't too much. And I think I recall Mike saying, like, back when this first started, we were going to call it New York by Night. Mm-hmm. But then they announced New York by Night. And so we were just like, well, we wanted it to be a joke anyway, so Newark by Night.
And I think that's kind of like what our unspoken like connection to each other is we're all the rejects from the New York Camarilla that excuse me, moved over to Newark because for some reason or another we just were not accepted.
I mean, when Mike sent me the email, I was like, okay, obviously I want to do this because I love these players. Like, I've played with them on St. Pete and such. And so I was just like, and so they were just, it was an easy sell. I was like, as long as we can work out the schedule, I'm down. Like, oh, he's cutie.
I have to unobfuscate her.
Am I
Hello.
going to use your evil idea? Maybe. It has been suggested that we do another session of all ghouls where I invite people to play ghouls. Teco, and I might invite you to play a ghoul. And we could explore some version of that idea.
Oh my god, when Werewolf comes out, and we are at a good, break point for the series, I would be so down, Bonnie, with us, our cast stepping back to do, a 3-episode werewolf one-off in the same theme of what we're doing. I would want to watch that and want to bring that into expanding the universe we're creating. I want it. Trust me, Bonnie. There's no reason for us not to make jokes in all the games.
Or the mages, especially because we had the mage brought up recently. That would be a fun little splat too, to see how that would go. Or even Changeling. I feel Changeling would probably be the most serious one, just watching all of us being what the fuck is this city?
The thing with Changeling is that they've announced that they're never going to make a D5 version of Changeling, which makes me sad because I like so Changeling.
Sad.
So if I bring in Changeling, I will be bringing in stuff from the old stuff. Whereas with the werewolf, when I do inevitably bring in some werewolf stuff, because I will, it will be in keeping with what they've said they're doing with the new werewolf. And it will be along those lines. So the lore that they've established that, for instance, you're not born into a particular tribe anymore. You select a tribe when you do. All of that stuff will be the lore I'll be using when I bring werewolf stuff in.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I definitely want to use more splats. There have been some hunters. Just putting that out there. There have been a couple of hunters.
Yeah, and one of them was pretty incompetent. And what happened?
He's
a sniveling, spineless tool now.
Yeah, he mistook Sage for a vampire.
Good for him.
To be fair, she smiled at him with pointy teeth.
I'm sorry, I have discerning fangs. Okay.
Excuse me, I am in real life a human, and I have baby fangs.
Yeah.
It happens in real life. What a dumb.
It does. I'm sorry, I grind my teeth where I have to wear fake ones.
Yeah. So he tried to stake her and ended up stabbing her in the collarbone.
Who is our favorite NPC? I suppose it's Bryce.
That one's a tough one for me.
McCoy's over here going, you mean it's not Francis? No.
As Sage, obviously, Bryce is the top of the list. But as Katie... Ooh. I would have to say, it is probably, mainly because of the intrigue, and I'm a very curious person, is Baron Gold.
Yeah, I guess I would say for Prunella, her favorite, the best NPC, it's got to be Gold. But for me, the player, I know it's really recent, but I really am happy that I made the mage live.
He was a cool one too.
Because I wanted to keep that doorway open. I want to be able to come back to that for multiple reasons, but the main one is because I made it. I'm on team Sage Mage.
Sage Mage.
Reynaldo. Yeah.
Ricardo, Robert.
Well, the amount of times his name was said that entire session, and we still kept messing it up.
I kept intentionally messing it up.
I could say without a doubt my favorite one to play is Francis. He is just such a weird character to play, but I love doing his voice. Because he really likes the little misfits that he looks over. He likes Sage. He wants to take care of her.
Any other trivia?
5-foot radius.
Ooh, we got a question specifically from Mouse. Bonnie wants to know how you came up with the idea for Prunella.
I kind of touched on it a second ago when I was telling McCoy I was, despite everything for this show, that he still let me break the rules to make a Ventru farmer, and the idea was just me reading through predator types as I was beginning my character sheet. I was just going through the motions to create Prunella because I had the idea for a Ventru that was repulsed by humans because of an obsessive compulsive disorder from life, to just be disgusted by humans in general. Even before I thought of being like, oh, it would be great if because of that she could be a farmer. She won't even eat people. So the idea was really just me being like, can I do this if this is my concept? Because it's not like I got the concept from wanting to just be a farmer. It was that the farmer predator type was the one that made the most sense with what I was already creating. And I was just like, please, I want everything to make sense, even though she doesn't make sense.
I was already on board. I was just like, the concept of this show was so bizarre. Like everybody was, all of the PCs were a little bit unhinged to begin with. So I was just like, okay, well, I'm a little more loose on this. And she explained what she was going for, and I was like, yeah, I'll run with that. And like I said,
now Bonnie, if you're asking about the aesthetic and personal goal part of Prunella, with her dressing horribly, and it's not just that as a farmer she would be a reject to her clan, but her tastes and values aren't on brand either. That was me being like, oh, we're Newark? Well, then I'm absolutely going to have an accent. And if I'm going to have an accent, I need some inspiration. And my inspiration were two women in television that were known to have very questionable fashion tastes. Fran Drescher as the nanny and Janice from Friends. So I was using their fashion sense to kind of help support me wanting them to be a 80s, 90s embraced kindred with New York, New Jersey fashion sense of those times. A girl from 1988 in Chelsea would dress pretty bad.
Yep.
So it was just, here's my concept for the kindred, here's my concept for the person. Now you deal with it.
But we love her.
We do.
She's very refreshing compared to my other main character that I play right now.
Every single time you go off on somebody, it gives me joy. Like, you just start ranting at somebody. I'm like, yes.
Those poor orderlies. What did they do to you? They looked at me. They walked by eating a candy bar. I'm gonna make them wish they were dead.
Oh my god! Like, I'm still just waiting for like the fluff session where like Prue is like dressing up Sage and like Feather and stuff. Just so I have an excuse to wear something very similar to you one day on stream. Like
I can see that.
And like not even to have to make it where you guys are like changing your starting outfit in stream to your finishing one. No, McCoy could easily just be like, so we're starting off coming out of a store and you are all wearing new outfits. Tell me about your outfits, you guys.
One of my favorite things to do as an ST in this is give your characters triggers to do the things that they are apt to do. So if I know that I can give triggers for Prunella to start ranting because it's good. It's good gameplay. It's good drama for anyone watching. Watching her just rant and rave and go after somebody's fun. Giving Feather an excuse to kind of flip out because people are talking about stuff and trying to justify it. If you guys were to sire, let's just say Sage's embrace, what kind would you be looking for?
Prunella's not gonna. How? She's gonna put that in her mouth? Are you? How would?
Prunella's gonna have an army of Femillas. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I could see Prunella being like, so we're going to be very clinical about bleeding you before I do this embrace thing.
Like, oh, no. I'm not going to drain all of...
We'll make Ollie do it. We'll make Ollie do the draining. And then Prunella will just be like,
Chowder? In this economy? Not me. No.
Yeah, let's say Sage gets made into a kindred. Who does Sage look for? Does she embrace like Bryce?
If she got embraced,
a hot boy embracer there.
If she got embraced and Bryce wanted it, she would have a long conversation with Gold about it, knowing the relationship. And she would be like, I know why you ghouled him. It's what you want for him. And I don't think she would have actually embraced Bryce. I think she would have Gold embrace him to risk him not being a thin blood, because we're young enough generation. Well, they're young enough generation where they would be embracing thin bloods at this point, correct?
Yeah. I mean, depends. Like Gold is. I'll give you a hint on Gold. Gold is a lower generation than you would expect.
Well, that's also fitting for Anarchs.
Yeah.
Like I feel I'm on the older end of Anarchs as Dorothy, but if Sage had to pick a kind, she'd want someone that is kind of quick on their feet and is like, all right, like kind of more to do it like to save their life. Like, I'm doing this literally to save you because you have too much potential ahead of you. Because that's just the kind of person she is. Like, she became a ghoul for her best friend. She could have easily have gotten embraced and literally lived as a kindred with her best friend, but she's like, no, she doesn't need me to also be embraced. She needs me as this. So she would want someone that is kind of aware and would be smart about it, but also not take advantage of it because she's literally doing it to save their life. No.
All right.
I'm the shield.
So here's the question. If Sage ends up as a kindred, does she have a ghoul?
Again, it would be in a similar vein of the embrace. It would be more of like she saved their life, and then she would either potentially convince them to be an independent ghoul if they wanted to continue that life, or wean them off once they're healed.
While Prunella would probably be very unlikely to embrace, if they brush their teeth and wash their mouth out, go through a routine, I think she could handle feeding a ghoul once a month. Prunella could probably handle having a ghoul, and she'd probably pick someone who works in an animal shelter. That the moment any creature that fits her menu came into play, got called in, come across a ticker, they're on it. They're getting that for their girl.
Well, that's the fun thing about ghouling. You don't need to drink it directly from the vein.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you literally could put it in a container.
Fresh squeezed Prue. Here you go.
Yeah.
No pulp, because I know you don't like it.
No pulp.
Would pulp be like blood clots? I'm now filled with questions that I'm not certain I know the answers to.
I do want for her next vignette, however it starts or whatever the purpose of it is, I want it to begin in the apartment, no matter what it is. And you should do at least 5 minutes of her and whatever her relationship with my cat is.
Yes.
She'd be the only one besides Prunella that doesn't make the cat nervous or skittish. She'd be the only one he'd probably let pet him.
I have ideas now.
It's like Sage has this secret relationship that she has unintentionally had to foster with this cat.
I feel I've just had to do that with any animal you've brought home. It's like,
yeah, but this one's like surviving and sticking around and seems oddly worried about its existence. It's new. He's just so fat.
He's so fat, naked. We need to get him a sweater.
Another question from Techo. What would be the character favorite discipline?
I mean, I only got one discipline.
Yeah. Though you got your second dot in it.
Not as a ghoul.
Did you? I thought you had.
I was debating on getting a second discipline, but ghouls can only get one dot for their dominators disciplines.
Yeah, though you can buy another one with XP.
Oh, then maybe I will take a second dot and dominate, because that's the only one I got right now.
You can buy a second dot of discipline. You can't buy a second dot in a discipline. To be clear. How about you, Mouse? Favorite discipline?
I'd say my favorite discipline for Prunella is probably Weight of the Feather, because when the opportunity to use that comes up, I had something in mind from the moment I chose it, because it suited the long-term goal of fashion industry, modeling, gracefulness. It made sense at the time. After last session, it seems like I should have chosen animalism. Whoops, now we have to in-game deal with that. We'll figure it out. Prunella needs to learn animalism.
Yeah.
Let's go meet some gangrels.
You could meet some gang or a Nosferatu. I'm sure that'll go well.
I do know a Nos ghoul.
Ooh, let's meet a Nosferatu and take Ollie. Watch whatever that happens. And not tell him either. Let's just, hey, we're going to meet this friend of Sage's because reasons, and Ollie's coming along, and then Ollie's surrounded by Nosferatu. Okay, go ahead, do your roll. Let's see how it.
What familis would your characters have?
Kindred are okay. It's humans that are disgusting. I mean, look at it.
Except
if-
Sage.
Well, if Sage was embraced, this is gonna be weird, but it would make sense, I feel. She would probably get a pigeon. And I know that would
A carrier pigeon?
like a New York street pigeon.
Sky rats. Yeah.
Hey. Doves are pigeons.
They are. And they're the closest living relative to the dodo.
So sky pigeons. So sky rats. Yeah.
But that's what I think Sage would get as a familis, is a pigeon.
The pizza rats of the sky. Got it.
Yes.
Oh, whatever. Have you ever seen a pelican come at you for your pizza? Who says this show isn't educational? Did you not know that, Mike? Did you not know that doves are pigeons?
Yeah.
Or that they're the closest relative of dodos. Or that there was a time when we ate pigeon in this country.
Also, they produce
People
milk.
still eat pigeons.
They produce milk for their babies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's in the back of their throats is the gland to do that.
And yeah, at one time you could buy canned pigeon meat, and it was fairly common to hunt them for food stock. And at the early part of the 20th century, end of the 19th century, there were so many pigeons it seemed like they were endless. They would blot out the sun.
Oh my god, that's my worst nightmare.
And because they were hunted for food, they became a much smaller population. But yeah.
And then cats fixed the rest of the bird population of America.
Listen, I love cats.
Species.
I am definitely a cat person. But one should never, ever forget that they are nature's little serial killers in this country.
And they'll eat you.
They
Cats will eat you.
Yeah.
They would.
Die,
Yeah.
they'll eat you.
The dog will wait a while. Like if you have a starving dog in the house, and
They'll eat all the food they can get to before they'll eat their master.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they'll do anything they can to avoid eating their master. The cat will eat your eyeballs before you're cold.
The moment you no longer smell alive, you are
Yeah.
food.
And they're responsible for like the extinction of hundreds of species in North America. They are
Primarily birds.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They are tiny little monsters. We invite into our houses. Look, it's a monster. Murder mittens, indeed. Murder mittens. And that is a very tolerant cat.
How cute!
He's very tolerant. He's a very tolerant cat.
She's my rag doll. She'll let me do whatever I want.
She's just a baby.
Just a baby.
But any other questions from the audience?
Well, what would Prunella's familis be? Unless she already has one and we're not aware of it.
It would absolutely be her big fat hairless cat.
Yeah, Von Willebrand.
Mama Lorraine.
100%.
What clan could we handle? Think we could handle in?
Go ahead, McCoy.
In
You can
real
answer this one too, storyteller.
Yeah.
You in real life, what clan do you want to be? For realsies. You have a choice.
This may surprise some and may not surprise others. I probably fit in best with the Toreador.
Oh, that does surprise me.
Well, I also have seen you play your Toreador, so that makes a lot of sense.
Oh God, that guy that I had to meet.
Oh, no. I wouldn't be like Maurice. I would be a Toreador the way Cyrano is a Toreador. But no, I am. I had a friend once tell me that I was in love with beauty. It's just that my definition of beauty was different than most people's.
Well, my definition of beauty is different than most people's.
And she was right. That I go like I can just revel in a particularly sad movie or a photograph that's striking, despite the fact that it's like anybody else would look at it and go, well, this is an ugly scene, but the way it's constructed, the way it's shot, I can enjoy that. And that's like, so yeah, I'm probably a Toreador at heart. Yeah, that's me.
De-wigging.
I guess we're nearing an hour and a half. I'm just like,
Yeah. How about you?
You go first, Mouse, because I have a couple that I'm torn between.
I feel like a lot of people would probably expect that it would probably the same. It would be easiest for me to slide into a Toreador clan as I am, because I'm an extremely artistic person and creative outlets and expression just suit me really well. But I'm also one of those people that constantly want to learn. I loved school. Even after high school was over, I was excited to start college. I was excited to continue learning. I kept my schedule the same. I was getting up at 7 to go to classes because I thought that this was like, this is how you learn. And I miss school even now. I love learning. I'm sitting in a room full of books as we speak. So Tremere is also kind of like in my wheelhouse of like, what? I get to learn secrets and go down rabbit holes and just continue feeding my ravenous need for knowledge. Yeah, that's definitely awesome.
That's fair. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I play a Tremere.
Oh, I mean, I think while I have lots of ideas for other clans to switch in our main game, I really want to be a Tremere.
That is a cool clan. Again, in like the similar vein with you guys, like I could easily fit in Toreador with the artistic attributes that I have, and like similar to Jeremiah, like what I find in beauty in has always been very obscure. But I really feel Ravnos would be my wheelhouse because I love to learn more like through experiences. As much as I loved learning things in school and stuff, like my favorite things when I like learned and picked up things was I was traveling as a kid. Like we literally went around the country for years in the summer and learned so many things, and that like I love the experiences and stuff like that. So I feel I would definitely fit in very well with the Ravnos, just constantly traveling and learning through that avenue. I also feel I would fit in very well with the Malkavians, just because of that whole, yes, they're kind of zany, they're kind of seen as crazy, but they still are very knowledgeable and wise in their own way.
That would be my third, would be Malkavian, because a Malkavian can essentially be technically the traits and expectations of any of the other clans.
Mm-hmm.
A Malkavian can really encompass all sorts. You can have a Malkavian that's an artist and loves to express themselves and create. You can have a Malkavian that is obsessed with knowledge and learning and expanding their horizons. Malkavians are sort of, you have a concept that suits multiple clans and you don't know what to go with. Make it a little more quirky and have fun with it and go Malkavian.
Yeah, I think my third would probably be Kato.
Due to the Clan Bane, I would also fit in very well with Salubri.
Fair.
Not Clan Bane, Clan Compulsion, because I care way too much about people than I should.
I mean, let's be honest. Marguerite could have easily been a Salubri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With few tweaks. Tweaks. No clan I never played.
That one's
you've never have played, I think is
Never have played.
it's easier for me to list the ones I have played.
I've never been a Nosferatu in any game I've ever played. I didn't even finish the Nosferatu playthrough on Bloodlines. Like, it's so hard to be a Nosferatu in the grand scheme of an entire game. Like a Coterie game, being a Nosferatu is hard.
You go first.
You go.
I was about to say mine. It's easier for me to list clans I have played because there's a lot I haven't.
Well, I've also never been a Salubri. It's just the opportunity never presented itself.
Yeah. I've actually run games before, so I get to play lots of them. The only one I haven't played is some of the Dark Ages ones I haven't played, like Gargoyles or Cappadocians, but in the modern age, I haven't played Salubri. And that's about it, because I've played just about everything else, either as an SD or as a player.
Yeah, so...
I had a Giovanni once.
Ooh.
I loved her. I would totally reskin her to bring into our main game.
Let me pull up the sheet, because I can never say the bloodline this character is. Because I played... Well, I SPC'd the Gangrel. I'm playing a Malkavian and another Chronicle. I'm playing my Zamitzi, and they are, because it's the Mind's Eye Theater system, they are, where is her bloodline, because I had to buy it. They are Capatharian, which is Dracula's bloodline, so it means I don't get vicissitude, because vicissitude is a discipline over there.
Yeah.
So wait, I played Malkavian, Zamitzi, I've played a Gangrel, Toreador, Ministry, and I feel I'm missing one.
Gangrel.
No, I said Gangrel.
Okay. Toreador, Gangrel.
I think that's it. I would love to play a
Ventru. Didn't you say you play a Ventru?
I did play a Ventru for a one-shot.
Yeah.
Her and Brunella would get along, or they would hate each other and no in between.
Yeah. I obviously am a nerd about game lore. So yeah, they used to, in the previous versions of Empire, vicissitude was its own separate discipline, and the explanation for its existence is the Zamitzi poked too hard into the sort of supernatural world, into the Umbra, and came across a sort of spiritual disease that came back with them and became vicissitude.
And that's why when I was asked to play Dracula's kid and was researching that stuff and researching Dracula specifically, I found that so interesting, the vicissitude stuff, and why that bloodline specifically rejects it.
because it eventually drives you completely incapable to hold a human form and completely alien, and you want to eat souls.
Which was so funny when I finally revealed what the character looked like, and everyone's like, she's pretty. Why is she pretty?
Better than plastic surgery, baby. Better than plastic surgery.
True. But I think we've been doing this longer.
Yeah, we're at
than-
an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went
Longer
a good
than
run for
intended.
today.
Yeah. We will be back on regular schedule. Like I said, a lot of people have been having real life things going on, and we're trying to accommodate and still be here and be upfront with people and say, hey, sometimes we're not going to be able to do things, but we're going to try and keep pace and keep doing the episodes regularly. We love the people who actually tune in and watch us.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who popped in today and asked questions.
Yes. Thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you.
And the previous recordings are still coming. It's just taking a little bit because, again, real life stuff. And there will soon be most of the previous recordings that we mention and are pulling inside jokes from. Those will be up, and we'll hope to maybe even do a watch party once they are all up.
Yep. But thank you for tuning in. And have a good night. Love you.
Love our fans. We do. You guys are awesome.